Hey. You guys listen to my favorite theme music as we get adjusted here. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Let me see if I can get rid of this music and get this party started. Yes, we can. Welcome everyone to Coffee Tea, You and Me. Every Friday afternoon, I sit down together with entrepreneurs, business leaders, and we discuss some of the most important issues of the day. We try to make sure that we incorporate some ideas and some concepts that you can take away with and use in your business, in your sharing of your ideas and thoughts, and making sure that you're coming across and creating the brand and the images that you really want to create. We're in the midst of a series of discussions on benefits. Benefits. What are benefits? How do we speak to them? How do we receive them? How do we share them? How do we elevate the party, the game, anything that we're doing with the right kinds of languaging so that we understand how to best benefit and share those benefits that we need with others. When you ask people sometimes what they want or what they're looking for, what they really want, what they're really looking for is something that benefits them. Think about it. Everybody's trying to answer that question in the back of their mind. What's in it for me? What is it that I can get out of this experience? What is it that I can get out of this understanding or whatever it is? And how can I use it? Right. So your ability to communicate those benefits, the benefits that you really bring to the table are really important. And let me just clear this up. Everybody wants to be relevant. Everybody wants to be get what I call their MRS degree, right? They have to want to have meaning and purpose in their life. They want to be relevant and significant. MRS, meaning, relevance, and significance. We're all playing by that same script in one way or another. There's all kinds of language you can put to it and you can use it, but we're all trying to do meaningful things in life. We all want to be relevant so that we're doing things that matter. We all want to be significant in that our uniqueness and the special gift that we bring to the table, the talents, the time, the treasure that we bring to the table can be valued appropriately. It all starts with understanding the benefits that we bring to the table, the benefits that we offer, the way those benefits are received by other people, and how those benefits are then multiplied and expanded throughout the universe and throughout the communities and throughout the people that we have a chance to interact and deal with and engage with. And so I want to do a couple things before we get the show started today. I want to remind you that this is a business friendly environment. So if you're following us in the chat, I want you to announce yourself. If you have a business, tell us what your business is or give us a link to your business so that we can, engage with you and look up your website or whatever it is that is. So if you have that already available, go ahead and load that up in the chat. If you're calling to us from a new place, some place that, we don't often see or any place that you want to announce, tell us your city and your state, where you're coming from. Let's engage with you in that, and we'll make sure that we give you a shout out in the show at some point. And if you have any question at all about the topic, about the other panelists that we're going to bring to the discussion for you, I call these, my rock stars. I promise you that they're some of the greatest people that you'll ever get a chance to meet and interact with. And they're superstars in their own right, and you're going to get a chance to meet them in just a minute. Today's discussion is, like I said earlier, an ongoing continuation of a discussion we've already been having. We're on stage 5 of that discussion. We're just talking about benefits. This is gonna go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, until we get down to the last, segment of our discussion. Today, we're gonna talk about benefits, and we're gonna talk about them in terms of a formula for relevance. How do we understand what relevance is? How do we communicate relevance? How do we get to the type of relevance that not only do we want to deliver, but that we want to experience? Experiencing relevance is one of the most fulfilling things that can happen to us in our lives. And often, Dr. Covey, and one of my favorite trainers and developers, will often say that quality time with people is found inside of quantity time with people. And one of the examples that he would give is, every once in a while, where your family might get together for dinner, you might get together, and when you do get together for dinner, or you get together for a special family gathering or meeting or whatever, um, people often will tell stories about something that they've experienced in the last time they had a family get together, and all those things. Now, that experience that they had that they're talking about, that positive, wonderful experience, it might be somebody said something that was hilarious, or somebody did something that was endearing, or somebody experienced, it was just something that, but it travels on from family meeting to family meeting to family meeting. Every time they get together, somebody was going to remember that time when we did this amazing, fun thing. Well, guess what happens? Usually that amazing, fun thing was not a planned thing. That amazing, fun thing was a happening as a result of getting together in the first place. Why am I talking about this? Well, the relevance is not necessarily in every family gathering that you're going to have. Every once in a while, though, while you're having your family gathering, something amazing is going to happen that everybody's going to remember. Now, this could all work differently if tragedy strikes in the middle of a family gathering, and what you're going to remember, what's going to be remembered and talked about is tragedy. And so this is why it's important that we think about, when we're developing relevant opportunities for meeting, when we develop relevant opportunities for communication, that we don't focus so much in trying to get the quality in every moment and everything we try to do and say, but we remember that there's relevance and there's qualities often found inside of quantity. Let's just have the meeting. Let's remember to have the meeting. Let's focus on the meeting and getting as much as we can out of each and every meeting. And every once in a while, something amazing is going to happen. We just have to be open to the fact that we're going to be meeting, and open to the engagement. And that's what I'm asking you to do today. If you're watching the show from YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, get engaged, ask the questions, put information in, that's going to speak to your heart and your mind. And I'm going to give you some challenges during the discussion. And these challenges are not just for our listening audiences, also for our panelists too, as we go through the process. And so, because we need to talk about this. We need to really understand how benefits drive our experience in life. And if we're going to interact with others, then we have to be engaged in sharing those benefits in a way that they're going to receive the benefit that we intend on bringing to the table. And as an example, I'll give you, when people ask me what it is that I do, I never say I'm a coach, because that's not even a glimpse of the sum total of what it is that I do. I never say, "Well, I'm the CEO of Coach Powell Training and Development." It's not even what they ask me. If I'm answering the question of what I do, then they're asking me really where I'm relevant, and where I add value, where I add meaning, and to who I add that meaning and value to. And so I have to be prepared to answer the question in what I call, this is a formulaic answer, but really quickly, you need to be able to describe what you do as, what benefits do you offer to whom, right? And so for me, when people ask me the question, I automatically go into, what, I've had some of the greatest experiences that you've ever gone to imagine. I get to work with small women and minority-owned business owners and entrepreneurs, helping them to overcome some of the most serious barriers that they have that faces their success. For some, it's about focus. For some, it's about productivity. For others, it's about raising their level of energy in a way that's going to help them across barriers and maintain the strategies they need to move forward and keep moving forward for the rest of their lives and the rest of their industries. And I do it in less than 4 months of working with me for a very, very low price. And ask me what my, you know, sometimes when I'm really, I'll say, ask me what my success ratio is. And they'll go, well, what was that? It's like 20 years, I've never failed. Not once. Now, I've never failed because I'm very selective about who I bring to the table. I'm very selective about who I accept into my, I know I can't serve everybody, but I can serve the right people exceptionally well. And so in my marketing efforts, I'm very careful to make sure I'm identifying the people who need to be in the space with me, who need to be as a coach, right? My job is to put the best athletes on the field that I possibly can to make sure that they win. But winning is not defined by me, it's defined by them. And I need to make sure I understand what their definition of winning is before I say, okay, let's go. Here are the exercises you need to do. Here's the stuff that's going to strengthen the muscles that needs to be strengthened in order for, because I don't even understand the game you're playing if I haven't asked the questions, if I haven't dug and understood what real benefits you're looking for. How can I speak to it? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the formula for relevance, how you get to that formula, how do you understand that formula, how do you generate it, how do you create it, how do you use it to help others and push the multiplicity of meaning, relevance, and significance. Okay, so here we go. Before we get involved, we're gonna introduce our rock star panelists, and they are backstage chomping at the bit. I tell you, I watched them get ready, man. They got their makeup on, they got their hair done, they got all the right stuff. They are ready to go. All right, and so I'm gonna introduce a lady who I believe really needs no introduction, but I have to, for the formality of it, let you know she's one of the greatest financial planners I've had a chance to meet, and I say this because that's the industry I was born in. I was born in the financial services industry, spent 20 years working through every possible iteration of the industry. I've held every license that you can imagine holding, I've held it. And not just the life insurance and health insurance and annuities, mutual funds. I did the stock thing too. And I did all of the um, other other insurance products, the car and the properties and businesses and all that stuff. So I've done it all, um, and I can't say I've done it all well. I've done a few things exceptionally well, but I haven't done it all well. And I'd be lying if I said that I did it all well. But I know enough to know talent when I see it. And Leah Garcia is a talent. And when I bring you to the table, if she says something, I can promise you it's rock solid. It's the best information you're going to get, and you better make sure you pay attention. Okay, without further ado, let me bring to the table one of my favorite financial advisors, Miss Leah Garcia. Leah,
Oh my gosh, I'm just so humbled. Thank you so much, Coach Powell. You are just so incredible. I mean, I hope I can do that bar's high. you know, that bar's high, but I receive those. I think it's so important that we are good receivers, right? A lot of us are good givers, but we have to also be good receivers. So I honor those,
absolutely.
accept those
So
words.
Leah, do me a favor. I'm gonna drop out. I'm gonna let you tell everybody who you are, what you do, how you do it. All the good, wonderful things that are out there. You got about 2 minutes. Go for it.
I got you. My name is Leah Garcia, financial strategist and insurance professional. And it is my crusade to help self employed small business owners really help them protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth so that they can build that legacy and create generational and multi generational wealth. And I do it. First step is my one page financial plan. It's called the Wall of Wealth. And it's literally a one page financial plan where you can look at your own finances and see where those booby traps might be for you. Where are those areas of your financial house that are not addressed? because a lot of times people want to put on the roof and the windows, but they haven't laid the proper financial foundation. And that's where we get tripped up. And I use the word booby trap intentionally because those are the things when things go awry and you find people having financial devastation. And I truly believe that when we increase our wealth, every area of our life will improve: our faith, our family, our finance, our fitness, our fun, and even philanthropic. We will be able to be better givers when we have more to give. So that's who I am, Coach Powell. So I'm ready for this conversation.
Oh my God. Thank you so very much, Leah. I've got another rock star. I'm going to put you backstage. I got another rock star coming up. And before I introduce Miss Leslie Branford, let me just tell you, there are certain people that I give credit to hold me accountable for certain things. And Leslie's just one of those people. Leslie is just a bundle of positivity and joy and a wonderful professional and talented professional in the world of Salesforce, understanding how that whole CRM system works and how to use it. There is nobody greater, nobody I would think that I want to share with other people more than Leslie Branford, and I'll let her introduce herself right now. Bring it home, Leslie. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Coach Powell. That was a beautiful introduction. And to Leah's point, thank you, thank you, thank you. I welcome and receive all those kind and affirming words. So Intelligent Solutions optimizes Salesforce for clients. We optimize business processes. This is going to allow them to spend more time. We all know time is priceless, to focus on what is important to build their business. We take a role in actively listening to what their pain points are and then come up with solutions that will help to improve their processes and make their life easier. Our goal is to allow them to see not allow them. Our goal is to help them better understand that there is so much more functionality than what they are using. It is not uncommon at all for businesses to secure the licensing and start using Salesforce, but they use it just very basic. And we come in to try and really optimize so they get a greater value out of all the capabilities that their system is capable of doing. Thank you again.
Super, super, super fantastic. Like I told you guys, I only bring the best to the table. And there's going to be, I think, one more that I'm going to introduce you a little bit later. She hasn't arrived backstage yet. She's just a little late. But Michelle is another one of those rock stars, and we'll introduce her in just a couple seconds. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get this party started. Today, what are we talking about? We're talking about the formula for relevance. Really, how do you communicate benefits? What are benefits really all about? And how do you share them in a way that's going to make a difference for you and for others? And so we're going to get into it. I'm going to start you off with a quote. And I want you to think about this quote in terms of what it's saying and what it means. Whatever you have to share in any combination of time, talent, and treasure can be leveraged either for someone specific or for the greater good. Whatever you have to share in any combination of time, talent, or treasure can be leveraged either for the benefit of someone specific or for the greater good. Now, the question I think every professional has to ask themselves is, thinking about that quote, well, what is it that you actually have to share? And sharing is a part of that whole thing, but also leverage. How can what you have to share then be leveraged to improve the experience of others? Now, I know most professionals that I had the blessing to deal with over the years have done a lot to get themselves trained up, to get themselves skilled up, to do and offer what they do and offer. And sometimes in that process, they've received, certifications, and they've got, I myself, back, especially when I was back in my financial services days, I had so many acronyms behind my name that, it was ridiculous, in terms of what I had to put behind my name that would represent all the certifications and levels of education and experience that I had been able to receive over the years. And I was so glad to get rid of all that because I recognized that only a very few people even understood what all those certifications meant. And sometimes it was actually intimidating. I found that they were the only people who really wanted to work with me were lawyers and accountants. And that worked well because we developed great partnerships that allowed us to then impact, millions of people. And I found a niche market in the retirement plan market specifically that allowed me to, gobble up assets under management, right? Which is a lot of what the game of financial planning and financial services is about when it's all said and done. And allowed me to be really, really good at capturing multiple $1 million deals and many opportunities because I had so much education that people can then use as validation for the qualifications that I brought to the table. But now the question I want to ask you today is that's what's necessary in order to prove that what you do is beneficial? And do you have to wait for all of the certifications and all of the experience and all that kind of stuff to be able to prove that what you have to offer actually is a benefit to others and to who it is a benefit to? And so I want you to think about that as we move into our discussion today. And I'm going to repeat that quote one more time. Again, for those of you who are listening and paying attention, whatever you have to share in any combination of time, talent, or treasure can be leveraged either for someone specific or for the benefit of the greater good. And you think about that. What do you have to share? How do you leverage it? How is it and who does it benefit specifically? How will they experience that benefit? So here's what happens when benefits really working, when they really, really are special. There are about 9 different ways you can see how interesting the characteristics, I would say, of a good benefit statement, good benefit sharing, good benefit experiences can be. And just listen to these 9 different thoughts, and I want you to think about them and pick out your favorite. Pick out what you think might be your favorite. And I'm going to list them all, and I'll restate them so that nobody's missing anything. But it's these are very, very important concepts to deal with. Um, the first characteristics of a quality benefit proposition, value statement, whatever that is, right? It helps you feel special. When you hear the benefits that you're actually looking for, you feel understood. You feel like something unique just happened and you've experienced something in a way that is yours, right? You feel special as a result of it. I would wish that every potential donor, every potential client, every potential investor, every potential partner, or any type of person that I got a chance to deal with would feel special. I don't want them to feel like everybody else. I don't want them to feel like they're just one of many. I want them to feel the uniqueness of our relationship. And I want them to feel like it's special. And so I've got to do the work that I have to do to generate that opportunity. Now, clearly, it's not necessarily possible for people who will never feel special about themselves to feel special. There has to be a level of self-concept, a level of self-esteem, a level of character in order for that to happen. But when it's done right, to the right with the right people at the right time, people feel super special. And it makes a big difference because the trust that's created from that allows for amazing things to happen. Number 2, when benefits are done really well, they fulfill promises, right? When benefits are done really well, when they're laid out and they're experienced, and people experience the benefit of something, they are in the midst of experiencing a promise that's fulfilling. Sometimes they didn't even know that they needed that promise, but they still feel the fulfillment of it no matter what, right? So it's super, super important that as you communicate the benefits that you're offering to people, they're looking, they could be up, oh, wow, did I experience this check? Yes. Did I experience that check? Did I tick, 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 tick? I experienced all the benefits that were promised to me and even more, right? But it's super, super important. We did a survey of the roundtables organization that I belong to and helped create years ago. We did a survey of our members and we asked our members, what are the benefits that you receive from your membership in the roundtable? There were 26 distinct benefits that they shared back with us. But then there were 6 common benefits that they shared back with us that will help us to begin to understand the full the full rounding of our proposition. What is it that we're offering to the universe? And we're going to talk about those benefits later on in our other discussions. But I was shocked, and I promise you that you will be too. When you ask your investors what's the benefits they're getting back from working with you, when you ask your clients what the benefits they're getting from working with you, when you ask your supporters or anybody that's a stakeholder in your universe, right? What are the benefits that they are receiving as a result of your existence? You're going to be surprised at the information that you get back because that's the reality. There's your brand and what you want to make promises to do, right? But then there's their experience. And somewhere in between what you think you're offering and what people are actually receiving is the true benefit. But when you hit that benefit right, it fulfills a promise. Sometimes a promise that you made, sometimes a promise that you didn't even know you were making, but it's the promise they needed to have fulfilled. And it makes a big, big difference. That's number 2. Number 3, when you hit this benefit thing correctly, it meets and exceeds expectations. Why? How many times have we truly been paid attention to in a way where people meet and exceed our expectations? It's a rare thing. Most of us in the professional world, who have ever experienced a moment where something that you thought you were engaging in or purchasing or participating in all of a sudden blows you away with just the goodness, sometimes even the righteousness of it all, creates a feeling inside of you that not only meets whatever you thought your expectation was, but exceeds that expectation. I'll tell you when our friend Lori invited me out to the sowing our seeds convergence. She doesn't call it a conference; she calls it a convergence. Last year, and I had a chance to attend and participate. I thought, "Oh my God, what else? What did I do in my life before that was actually relevant?" I mean, I thought I was doing some relevant stuff and offering some relevant services, left to my own ego maniacal way of thinking, but then I got a chance to sit with these powerful women and discuss the issues and share with them the issues that they were facing. And then I realized that I had something to bring to the table that was more than I ever thought it really was. And I found myself in a space that I felt like, oh my God, I'm going to be able to knock this out of the park. I'm going to be able to do everything I think I wanted to do. I just didn't know where the audience was or where the people were that I needed to do this for. But I found that in this one conference with these amazingly brilliant women. And I thank God they allowed me to even be in the room. Now they're taxing me, because you need people like Michelle, and they just, they just put you to work. but it's a work that I lavish in, and I love the opportunity to do that work, to support them in any way, shape, or form. That's number three. Number four, when benefits get all right, they help us. They help us all to be, do, and have more than we were before we experienced that benefit. Or it's not really a benefit. If you can't be, do, or have more as a result of experiencing a moment, a transaction, a service that somebody says they're providing to you, then was it really a benefit? Leslie and Leah and I were talking earlier. People buy stuff all the time that they don't really truly understand the full value of it, and they certainly don't use it to its greatest extent, especially these complicated services and processes and products and so on and so forth. You know, but still, clients are exceptionally glad to have received them, even if they don't fully understand it. Why? Because they understand the benefit to them. They may not understand all the benefits that are capable, but they understand the benefit to them. And that's super, super important, right? Because every benefit will help you do, be, and have more than you had before you experienced the benefit. So think about the superpower of being able to explain what the benefits are that your client's going to receive, or your investors are going to be able to receive, or your supporters are going to be able to receive, or your stakeholders are going to be able to receive, in a way that every time you explain it, they go, "That's right, exactly. That's what I'm getting out of it. That work. There's no shame in telling people what's in it for you, what's in it for them. I don't know why we try to hide it in all these wonderful processes and languages that we use when we explain what it is that we do. That should be the first thing that we share. In fact, there's a little saying I have in the training manual that comes along with this talk called, benefits compel, stories sell, and facts tell. And when you think about that, do you want to be a telling person? That's all you want to do is just tell stuff? Or do you want to sell stuff? That's all you want to do is sell stuff? Or do you want to compel? If you want to compel, you're going to need to throw some benefits out there that people can go, "Oh, yeah, I want that. I want to experience that. I want to feel that." The next on the list is number five, benefits at every iteration, no matter how you think about it, promotes kindness and well-being. There's no such way as giving somebody a benefit that they actually experience and receive that is not going to help them, and that's not going to promote kindness and well-being, right? And you guys, Leah and Leslie, I gave them some introductions earlier, and they thought, really well of it. But I promise you, you haven't had an introduction yet until you get uh, Michelle GI to introduce you. I don't know why she just dropped off in just a second ago, but she'll probably be back. Her kind of the way she introduces, when Michelle introduces you, you feel like the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything will part, and your way, no matter what you do in life, will be made clear, and everything will just work because she has that way about her of showing the honor and the respect that she's been able to gain from you and then transfer. Like I said earlier, benefits can be leveraged, right? The trust and the belief and the hope she has in you when she introduces you is transferred to other people. You can't ask for more. You really can't ask for more when it comes to that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of introduction we all want. I don't I my head's big enough. I don't need everybody to say how wonderful I am and blah 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 blah. That's great. And I can receive that. It's very difficult still for me. And I know it's difficult for many of you, right? It's difficult to receive that. But when I get past my own ego, right? And I get to go, this is how another person has experienced me, and they're sharing it with other people. Man, half the job is done. Because in building trust with other people, after that introduction, it's so much easier, again, assuming that there's trust already and that trust can be leveraged. So, back to that the earlier definition, right? You got to have something to share in order to have something to leverage. And you have to know what that something is that you're sharing. No, you don't have to. You can do it by accident, right? But it's so much easier, it's so much better, it's so much something that you can put into your backpack of things that you want to bring along with you. If I'm going to a conference and I need somebody to introduce me, I'm getting Michelle GI to introduce me. Period. That's that. I'm like, whatever it costs to bring her along. I'm like, I don't even want that person stand up, read my resume or all my achievements and da 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 da. That old boring stuff that comes with zero credibility and zero access or transfer of that emotional content. That can only happen when somebody knows you enough and feels that they know you enough to share that. And you guys get where I'm coming from? I hope you do. I hope you do. I'm sure many of you have been introduced in a way that has been a life-changing experience for you. That's worth it every time. I'd rather if she says, Marvin, I need you to come present to this group, or I need you to come over here, da 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 da. I'm like, are you introducing me? That's the first question I'm gonna ask. She says yes, I'm in. The content doesn't matter, nothing else matters. Because I already know there's a level of trust there that can be leveraged, right? That's what benefits can do for you. They can promote well-being. Number 6, benefits, well done well, will drive our own thinking about our own self-concept and our own self-esteem. I just gave you a perfect example of just that happening, right? When you have experienced benefits of something, you have to ask yourself, well, who am I in this space? I just received this goodness. I just received this experience. What is the universe trying to tell me about me? It must be telling me I'm worthy. It must be telling me that I'm special. It must be telling me, again, if you already have some semblance of positive self-esteem and self-concept, the benefits are going to just boost that. It's going to make that stronger. Now, if you don't have a semblance of positive self-esteem or self-confidence, it doesn't matter what people say about you. It doesn't matter what experiences you have. You're going to go, wow, I don't deserve it. Imposter syndrome might jump in and make you feel like, you're not ready for it, whatever that is. But you want to, hopefully meet people where they need to be met so that you're not overexposing to something they're not ready to handle yet, even if it's positive and great. And you're not underexposing them to the truth on and the real value that they bring to the table that they need to experience and hear, because that's how you can be valuable. But you have to listen first in order to create that environment. Number 7, benefits help us know when we are accepted and cared for. People don't give benefits to people that they don't care for or they don't accept. People sometimes they wait for the shoe to drop. Okay, you're giving me all this love and all this acceptance and all this kindness and all this, but well, what do you want? What are you really after? And I will tell you, everybody's trying to be meaningful, relevant, and significant. And if they're trying to share something with you, take it at that level first before you start looking for, what is it that they're really up to? Because I've had people who have given me things and they've had nefarious intent. But the way I've received it has changed their whole entire mind and reality around. And they're like, I can't do this to this guy. Look at this. He is so wonderful. He is such a validating presence what I want to be around. And they will straighten their act up because they realize that they're around somebody who has no negative intention. No, do no harm. It's not just a saying, it's a belief system, right? And so when you can overwhelm even the negative people with the force of, I hate to use the term righteousness, but I don't have a better term. With the force of your goodness and your character and what you bring to the table, you can make people go, oh wow, there's a better way of being. There's another way of being. If I just open myself up to it and let go some of the baggage that has created the damage, that I bring to the table generally, right? I can let some of that go just for a little while, just see that there's a light somewhere that I can shine on others, right? So super, super important. But when you get it right, the benefits help you know when you're accepted, help you know when you're cared for. Number 8, benefits help you build the confidence of your own contribution and value. Think about that. You know, if somebody's giving you something, someone has been a benefactor to you, has supported you, not because they expected this amazing, great thing from you, just because they wanted to, just because it felt good for them to do something for somebody else, and you were the willing and acceptable recipient of that gift. Doesn't it validate you to a certain degree? Doesn't it give you some confidence to a certain degree? How doesn't it help you feel recognized and understood? Uh, now if it was done intentionally, if and you feel like you earned it, that's a whole different ballgame, right? If you feel like you earned it, whew, but even if you don't feel like you earned it, there's something wonderful in being a beneficiary. That's a muscle like Leah brought that in right off the bat. It's like learning how to receive is a huge part of honoring the benefactor. If you give me something and I say, "Oh, it was too much. You shouldn't have done all that. That was more than I needed." Oh, blah blah. If I'm pushing back on it, I'm thinking I'm being humble, but in reality, I'm rejecting your gift. I'm rejecting your talent. I'm rejecting the time that you spent even considering. How am I there for doing something good for the universe when I don't even know how to receive the time and talent and treasure that someone else willingly bestowed upon me for whatever their reasons were, right? I play a participant if I create in them blame, shame, fear, or doubt by how I receive. Another Stephen Coveyite. Another Stephen Coveyism I'll share with you, and because you guys know I'm a Coveyite, so I like to share with you. Dr. Covey shared in his book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. In between the stimulus and response is our opportunity to respond, meaning it's our response ability. Two different words. We have the ability to respond, and in that ability to respond is the opportunity that we have to bestow on others just the general nature of kindness and goodness, and that has a multiplying effect. If you haven't heard anything I've said, I want you to hear that. So yes, benefits do build our confidence and our contribution and our value. Number 9, and this is one of my favorite. Benefits done well, they drive all of humanity forward. Now, I'm not even going to explain that one. I'm going to let that one just hang out there in the universe. And I'm going to read the whole entire list again. And I'm going to ask my panelists to choose from that list what they think might be their favorite and go ahead and put it in the chat. Number 1, benefits help us feel special. Number 2, benefits fulfill promises, whether we know them or didn't know them, but they fulfill the promises. Number 3, benefits help us meet and exceed expectations. Number 4, I'm sorry, Number 3 was benefits help us meet and exceed expectations. Number 4, benefits help us to be, do, and have more than we could have before we received the benefit. Number 5, benefits are acts of kindness that promote well-being. Number 6, benefits drive our thinking about our self-concept and our self-esteem. Number 7, benefits help us grow when we are accepted and grow and understand that we are accepted and cared for. Number 8, benefits help us build the confidence of our contribution value. And last but not least, benefits Number 9, help drive humanity forward. So I'm going to ask each one of our panelists to pick one that really, really resonates with them. And let's talk about why that particular aspect of this conversation resonates with them. And then we're going to close out with any questions or anything that anyone else has. All right. Let me see who we're going to go with first. And then we're going to bring everybody to the stage. You know what? Before we do that, I'm going to have Michelle introduce herself because she didn't get a chance to do that. And so I'm going to bring her up to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you the lady again. She's a great, amazing professional in the government contracting space. She has been there, done that thing. And let me just tell you this in a way that I don't think I've ever said it or I've even heard other people say it. Um, in order to run how the services are maintained and gotten to our service professionals throughout the world through the exchange program, or through understanding how those benefits are laid out. Understand that in order for them to get food for their families, in order for them to buy furniture for their homes, in order for them to do vacations, in order for them to do anything, the first thing they're going to go to is going to be the exchange services. One of the chief officers that was responsible for running that exchange service for many, many years for all of our service professionals, and they're talking about millions and millions of dollars of corporate efforts and everything that went into serving the professionals that serve our community and serve our country, was won by the lady that I'm going to introduce to you right now. Supercharger in both corporate and government and governance, understands. You talk about benefits. She understands how to bring benefits to the communities that she serves in ways that I don't know that anybody else would have had that unique brand of experiences that she's had over the years, and has basically transformed and conformed that whole cycle of how armed services professionals get to experience their lives and their lifestyles. Without her, forget about going to the golf course. It would be a horrible golf course. Forget about, going to the exchange and getting things they needed for their wives and gifts and husbands and all that kind of stuff. Wouldn't happen. Forget about Christmas for the family. There'd be no opportunities for that. Forget about vacations and things they needed to, get themselves back centered when they come back from a deployment or something like that. R&R, with that whole process of military R&R, what you think about it is the rest of it, they would have there would be no way for them to rest and relax. To what? Without people like Michelle. She made that happen for them for years, and is now, benefit of working with one of our small business administrations or small business services through the Veteran Affairs Office, is continuing just the legacy that she's put down. And I can't wait for her to break out into private practice, because we're going to make some real stuff happen. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce you to Michelle, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself. You got to come off mic, boo-boo.
Wow, wow, wow. You must have known I was having one of those days and I needed to be reaffirmed, lifted up, filled up, and I'm now overflowing. So thank you, my brother. Marvin, I think that you are one of the greatest minds in this small business space. From a not only a strategy standpoint, but from a mindset standpoint. And so, in my mind, mindset of an entrepreneur is probably the most critical, often ignored aspects of small business success. And I can, or anybody, just go to his recommendations and you will see the impact that he's having. I'm honored always to share this space with Marvin. As I tell him, he's a light giver, right? He brings darkness, light to places of darkness, especially when it concerns small businesses and leaders. And that's what we need to see our vision clear. And I'm so thankful to be in your midst. I'm Michelle Gardner-Ince, AKA GI. I am a champion and advocate for underserved community businesses, and it's my pleasure. Thanks.
So you guys are in for a treat because there's a reason why the universe brought all of you all together today, and I hope you're starting to see it. But I won't say it's my grand design, but I will say it's my great hope that you all meet each other and interact with each other. And so thank you very much. Don't go anywhere after the show, because I just want you to meet each other. This is going to be great. That's like what Marvin put together. No man put us under. Okay. I'm going to have the first of you all come to the stage and share what number of all the benefit statements that we said earlier that really resonated with you and why. And I'm going to start with Leah, of all that we shared earlier, what resonates most with
Wow.
you?
I've got pages and pages of notes. That was incredible. I am so full. That was amazing. So, of all of that you said, if I have to only pick one, which isn't
Yeah, you
really
got
fair,
one.
but
Right.
I'm going to just pick one. The benefits help us fulfill our promises. And why that really resonates with me is because I feel that so oftentimes we can self-sabotage by breaking those promises. And the most important person, in my humble opinion, that we break those promises all the time, so many times that we don't even think of them, we never even track them, we don't speak about them, is those promises that we make to ourselves. We all get inspired at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Tomorrow's the day. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. I'm going to the gym. I'm starting that diet plan. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do all these things. And then as soon as that alarm comes on, what do? We hit the, maybe not you, but I can say I've done this in the past, hit the snooze button. And we think, oh, well, I'll start it tomorrow. It's okay. They won't know if I show up at 6 o'clock. You know what? I can skip the 6 a.m. I can go to the 7 because they do the 6 and 7 a.m. And then I'll be okay. And I'll still get to the office on time. But what happens is when we make those excuses and we don't keep those promises to ourselves, it impacts our ability to function. We cannot be authentic. We cannot come from, weakens our self-worth. It just, man, it's like everything. And then we're trying to be out here and give and do all these things, but it's incongruent. People talk a lot about being authentic. And for me, that word gets overused a lot. And how do you know if someone is authentic? My mentor said to me, you listen to them with the sound off. Is that fire? I can't hear what you're saying because what you're doing is speaking so loud that I can't even hear the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Right. Right.
And so
You speak to something that I learned many, many years ago, and Dr. Covey, would say that your integrity is a form of self-trust, right? If you can't make promises to yourself that you're going to keep, then what business do you have of asking others to believe and trust and have faith in you? And that first level of integrity is that first level of trust that you have to develop in yourself, that internal trust. And I so appreciate you for amplifying that in a way that only you could do. Thank you so very much, Leah, for that concept. I'm gonna bring you back. Don't move. I gotta get Leslie up next. Leslie, what do you think about all this craziness? Which one resonates most with you? Don't forget to come off mic, Leslie.
Yeah, I love number 9 the most, but I'm going to talk to number 3. And it's the meeting or exceeding expectations. That's been something that's always driven me in my whole life. It's been a fundamental core principle of who I am, and it makes me who I am. When I know that I'm supposed to be doing something, I know my intention, and oftentimes, perhaps not all the time, although my intention is that it would be all the time, is to exceed the expectations. There is a tremendous amount of satisfaction. The nature inside of me wants to give. It wants to give more than what's asked for. I probably need to learn how to balance that out a bit more. And sometimes my creative thinking just goes in this place of creativity and, oh, I can do this form and I can do that and I can do this and I can do that. And then I try to put it all together and I try to button it up all professional and give it to them. I want them to see how much I'm so bought into their company and to what they're doing. And it can be lost in the translation. I think I'm capturing all these great details that's going to just wow them. And they're like, holy moly, what the heck?
Right.
So
Right.
I am in that space, but how to navigate it with the right timbre of effort given the situation. So,
We've all been in situations where we're drinking from the fire hose, right? We've all been in those situations. And we've also been in those situations where we've been that fire hose for other people. you know, and
yes.
so it's very, very, very important that we learn to give people what they need, not what we want to give them.
That's right.
Because if we give them more than they can handle, we are creating a disconnect between their ability to receive and then share back with us
Yeah.
the accolades, or I should say the relevance that we're trying to accomplish. And the best example I can give you is, like, when I meet a new person, right, my expectation is they could be here, right? Their expectation is that they could be here, right? So how do I move them if I could get them just a little bit closer this way?
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta learn how to make that a win. I gotta learn how to accept that as a win, instead of the fact that maybe they didn't get all the way over here where I wanted them to be. Even though I know they have potential, even though I know they could get there, maybe it's not the time for them, whatever else is going on in their life or the business or whatever that is, for them to go the whole entire distance. And so I don't try to set it up so that my expectation needs to be met, or we're setting up an opportunity for failure, because I always have greater hope for people than they have for themselves.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit
Yeah.
of mine, right?
Yeah. But I think also, specific to the particular industry that I'm in, so many people, they have people that come in and they say they're going to offer these solutions and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And they do some custom whatever. And then they completely disappear off the client's radar. And then they're going,
Right.
what the heck? So just trying
Right.
to address that, hey, we're here and we're committed to be a solution for you long term, and trying to effectively communicate that, effectively being the key word, is
Yeah. It's for people who have never had that experience and never really had people commit like that.
Yeah.
Yep. They don't know how to receive it.
Yeah.
They don't have a resume. They don't have a resume to receive that.
Yeah.
Right. They don't have that. And so you offering it is like you offering this alien thing. Like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
You're being committed to, you're going to follow up on the work that you're going to honor your promises and commitments.
Yeah.
That level of trustworthiness is foreign to so many people.
Yeah.
And so you just have to understand that. Okay, I'm gonna bring Michelle up. Michelle, I'm gonna let you close this party out. Tell us what you think about all that happy noise we shared with earlier. Anything that resonated with you, you gotta come off mic, Michelle.
I'm going to just kind of piggyback on what has already been said. And I think it's about two things: relevance and exposure. Relevance in that benefit has to be relevant to the recipient. It's got to be important to them. We can think, like you said, we want to take them from here to here, and they need all these things, but they don't see that it's relevant. And if it's not relevant, as you have in your handout, which is amazing, if you don't have it downloaded, it's not a benefit, right? And then it's exposure. If I've not been exposed to what good is, if I've not been exposed to a trusting relationship of somebody's going to be give benefits without anything attached to it, without conditions, is what I'm trying to say, then that is a challenge for me. And I think benefits is about us making sure that we show the relevance and we also give them exposure as much as they can have without overexposure. I'm going to close there. Thanks.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna put you backstage too. Guys, like I promised you, my rock stars are really rock stars. They know what they're talking about. They've been in the game for a minute and they are sharp, sharp, super sharp individuals. If you get a chance to get in front of them, listen, ladies, if you got something that you want to share in the chat, events, or things that you got coming up, or things that, any of your contact information, you want to put it in the chat, go ahead and do that. If there's anybody has questions in the audience, I'm sorry. We are literally out of time. I ran my mouth a little bit too much. I do apologize for that, because now I'm past the point where I can reproduce this and share it in a way that's going to be useful, but that's okay. We had a great episode and a great show. For my backstage panelists, please, just hold on for a second. I want to get you guys together and kind of share a couple ideas and thoughts with you all. And we're going to end the show right here. Hope you guys had a great time. Please, like I said, the chat's going to always be open. And so if you're watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, or even on Instagram, the chat's always going to be there. So if you have a question or thought or process, you want to throw it in the chat, even if you're watching the recording a little later on, you can go ahead and do that. All righty. We're going to end this. Bye now. Thank you guys for hanging out.